What's up, Cultivators? It's Jar, head of post-production here at Community Cultivation Network, back with another CCGO. Thank y'all for tuning into this episode. I'm super excited with who I got on. She's actually been here a few times. I think she had a CCGO episode already, if I'm not mistaken, way early on back in our starting off days. So she's definitely a legend around here. Comes to a lot of our CC markets. She has root flower fruit juice business, which is a natural organic fruit juice. She's also interested in starting a podcast. We had a really good conversation before this started, so I learned a lot of new stuff off camera. But without further ado, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Let her tell you your name. I'm gonna sound like I don't know her real quick. So, who are you, and would you like to tell the people about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is LaDonya. I am a budding legendary juicer.
Yes.
So my goal here is just to expand the health and wellness options for my community, and that's it.
Awesome. So I guess my first question is, how did you even get into health and wellness?
Okay. So I've always been like the girl who was outside playing sports, active, that type of thing. So it's kind of just always been in me. Both my parents were athletes, that type of thing. So I've always been that girl. But as far as like looking at it from a professional standpoint, it was more so I had a health crisis of my own, and that kind of really catapulted me into this journey.
So I always think about the phrase, like, people don't worry about things until it's at their front door.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like
Yes.
health wasn't going too well, and then boom, whatever the situation was came knocking, and you're like, I gotta get it together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I can dig into that just a little
absolutely.
bit. So even prior to my personal health experience, I watched the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I think many people might be familiar with that, but if you're not, Joe Cross is a guy, Australian guy. He was dealing with numerous medical issues, taking over 60 pills a day.
Wow.
And he said, I'm going to do something different. He changed his environment. So he left from Australia, came to the US, spent 60 days juicing. He only drank juices for 60 days. At the end of that 60 days, he was off every pill, every medication that he had been prescribed. And so he takes a road trip and he starts offering this to other people. They start juicing, had the same result. Everybody's able to come off of the medications or reduce their medications, right? So I had a series of events like that where I'm just coming across all those documentaries, Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead, Forks Over Knives, What the Health, that type of stuff. So I'm started to make connections at that point. However, it wasn't impactful to me. Like, I saw it, I'm thinking about it, but it wasn't real. And then I used to work out, as I mentioned. I was always like the girl in the gym, and I couldn't work out as well as I used to. Like, I had discomfort in my abdominal area, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, okay, I'm just out of shape. Continued trying to work out, was still struggling, didn't have the endurance and things like that. So finally, I'm like, something's not right here. I had discomfort in my stomach, but again, I just thinking, okay, I'm young, drinking, eating, I'm just living a life, turn it up on my exercise. But the plan that I always could go to didn't work this time. So I was like, okay, let me go talk to a doctor. So I go to the doctor, and the doctor, initially she just kind of tried to blow me off. Like, nah, it's nothing. Kind of gave me the same prescription I gave myself. Eat better, work out more, this will change. And I was like, no, I've done that already. Like, we know that. So she saw that I wasn't leaving. And so she was like, okay, let me examine a little bit further. And so she comes and she's kind of feeling around my abdominal area. And, I saw the expression on her face change to where she could see that it was serious. And she was like, well, you have, a large mass right here, your abdominal area. We're going to need ultrasounds. And she didn't want me to leave that day. But, I kind of pushed like, nah, I'm not ready for all that, just at this point. But I felt like at that point, we know something is going on and we have to take the next steps. So ultimately, it turned out to be PCOS, ovarian cyst, and fibroids. And so now it's real to me.
Yeah.
And I went to she recommended me see a different doctor. I saw a specialist. Saw the specialist. They go to the most extreme, which is hysterectomy, which is where they're going to remove like all of your reproductive organs for the most part, a full hysterectomy. Yeah. So, that's pretty severe. There's some long-term implications for that. If you want to have kids, you won't be able to have kids at that point. It changes your hormones, so you'll be on hormone replacement and hormone treatments for the rest of your life. At this point, I'm just around 40, so I expect to live, or I pray to live a long life. And so, to think that you're going to be on these hormone treatments for the rest of your life, maybe it's not as big of a deal, but since I'm not aware of it, it just seemed very extreme to me. So I was like, okay, let me look into what I can do here to avoid that situation, because I don't want to go from this all the way there. And so again, those documentaries and things that I saw kind of started to, make more sense now. Like, you're understanding your health and your food go together. You know what I mean? And so I started looking into, can you treat this with nutrition? And I found out that you can. And so that's kind of what really was the catalyst for my journey into health and wellness. That's
awesome. So I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's something new. You learn something new every day. So then how do you go from pills to nutrients? Like, why can these nutrients take away the things that maybe the pills take away, or how can they replace pills?
Got you. So food is your medicine, or let food be thy medicine, is the ancient. I think it's attributed to Hippocrates, but the concept existed prior to then. And so I think that is when I dug deeper into it to look at, okay, what's going on here? What's different? This is unique to women in America, specifically Black women in America. And so I started looking into what are the factors that are different than with us here versus in other countries. And it's the foods that we eat. We have access to so much more, not to vilify processed foods, because I love a bag of chips, but we have access to so many more foods that are processed and that are not in their natural state, that it kind of contributes to that. So again, just from the research, it just made sense to me that, okay, there's healing in nutrition that's not processed, or food that's not processed. And so let me give that a shot before I go into peels, as you mentioned, pills and knives, cutting things up.
Yeah, so you never went to the pills or anything? You never?
I did, actually. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack.
Okay.
So a doctor, this was prior to the PCOS, ovarian system fibroids diagnosis. I had mood swings. I didn't realize that it was cyclical. And so I had a friend that kind of pointed it out to me and said, around this time every month, you are like very emotional, which I'm super even keeled. So I don't get emotional. Like, I don't have the highs and lows. I don't cry a lot or anything like that. But a friend pointed out, but this particular time, every month, we can write it down, and set our watch to it. You're emotional. And so that kind of brought it to my attention, but I didn't have, it wasn't around the time that I started my menstrual cycle. So I didn't correlate those two. I go to the doctor, and but I came across on social media an article where a person said they experienced the same thing, and this was their diagnosis. So I look into the diagnosis, which was PMDD, which is extreme PMS, basically. It's like PMS on steroids. And I go to the doctor and I say, I think this is what I'm dealing with. I've done the research. This is what I believe I have. She said, yep, checks out, prescribed me some medication. The medication gave me symptoms that were far worse than what I was experiencing. So with my body, I couldn't work out. I had mild discomfort, right? The medication, though, made me depressed, gave me suicidal ideations, different things like that. So I was like, you know what? I'll just deal with the discomfort before I deal with the idea of jumping off a bridge. That was very unsettling for me. And so I was like, I'm absolutely not going that route. So we'll do something else. And so that led to me looking into the natural remedies as well. So,
okay. Yeah. And what were the natural remedies that you that attributed to less discomfort. Did they work?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. And to this day. So things that contribute to the pain, the discomfort, the diagnosis that I experience, caffeine intake is very detrimental to women who have PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids. It contributes to that. Sugar, for sure. Like the more sugar I would eat, and I had a specific craving as well. So that was kind of the other thing that I identified. I would crave spicy nacho Doritos with bean dip.
It's very specific.
And it always had to be these three things together. The spicy nacho Doritos with the bean dip.
Okay.
A sweet lemonade.
Okay.
So like some type of not lemonade, tea. A sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
And a Reese's peanut butter cup. So it's salty and sweet foods. And it's like I had to have those food. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like I didn't crave foods like that. So, but around that time and during this process, I would have this really strong, salty, sweet craving. Now, you probably could, what's the word? Many people probably crave other combinations, but that was just a combination that I think maybe when I started experiencing this, that I recognized work. And so it was like month after month after month, like that was what I craved. And so I kind of went to those.
And so your body was craving that because it was lacking that, or
I don't even understand. I don't think it was that. I don't even know. I don't know what it was.
Okay. but you found the substitute to be juicing. And that was what resolved those cravings.
Yes.
Like, so now instead of bean dip, you were drinking juice, and that helped.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So how'd you discover juicing? Like, or why did you choose juicing?
So before the diagnosis, I'd watched the documentary. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's a good thing to just try out anyway, just in general, to get into it. Because wellness, again, was always just something that I was interested in. But after the diagnosis, I was like, okay, green leafy vegetables, because that's what heals your body, doesn't contain a lot of sugar, and just natural unprocessed foods. Well, it's hard to eat a lot of that like on its own. Yeah. So you have to juice, you have to make smoothies and different things like that. And so just in the effort to incorporate a lot more of that into the diet, that's where juicing came from. So
at what point did you decide, I'm juicing for myself, but I want to juice for others? When did you decide this is going to be my business?
So this is crazy, because I have a sister who's a bit younger than me, rather opposite, I'll say that. She was not into wellness or anything like that. But during COVID, she is approached by a guy. She was a manager at a store. The guy just completely randomly is like, in the store shopping, it's like, oh, I think you're a great manager, and I would love to have you come manage this business I'm opening. It's a smoothie bar. And so I've been juicing and doing like juicing and smoothies for years at this point, and never it crossed my mind like as a retirement thing, like go retire on a beach and juice and sell smoothies and just find an extra money and then hang out with the tourists, but never thought about it like from this perspective as a profession. Like I was in sales and that type of thing, enjoyed what I did. So I didn't think about it as a business opportunity until my sister went to work there. Right. So my sister goes, she works at this company, and I think like they're great. They got great products. And, I was like, okay, now I can kind of see the vision. Yeah. I can see that this can be a thing for me. And then even more so, I would go into the business and I would like to buy the product because I'm like, oh, okay, I got a good spot now. And the employees couldn't really explain like the benefits of their products. So I'm like, okay, if someone wants to come in and purchase this, like, or if someone comes in, and I'll get to this next, but if someone comes in and they want to have something, let's say a product that gives them more energy, or a product that's like low in sugar and that kind of thing, what products would you recommend? Mm-hmm. The employees there weren't really knowledgeable of the products like that, like how they help the person.
They just made the juices.
Exactly. It just made them and sold them. That was pretty much it. Like not really into the nutrient nutrition part of it. And so from there, I was like, okay, I could really do this now. Like I've got years of experience. I kind of know, if you're looking to add more protein to a smoothie, you can remove this and add this and that kind of thing. So that's when I really saw like, okay, this could be a thing for me. And then a thing for me without having to retire and go, retire on a beach. And then COVID hit, and that's where, I think the world at that point was forced to identify like how is your body built, to sustain like a biological emergency. Like, do you have the nutrition? Is your body going to be able to help you get through these illnesses? And so, and that was like on a grand scale. But then just if you look at the day to day, what I was dealing with the menstrual discomfort, like, well, what can you do to alleviate that, or a cold or flu? Like most people don't have those answers outside of a pill. And so it just kind of brought everything together for me.
Okay. And so you got the taste of the smoothie place.
Yeah.
You realized there was a need for people with the knowledge of the nutrition and also providing it. And so you decided to start your business from there. And it was root flower fruit juice.
Yeah. Well, I probably went through a few names.
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, for sure. But I settled on root flower fruit juice. It's the process of growth and transformation, actually. Everything actually, it starts from a seed, but once that seed takes root, then from there you grow, you transform, and ultimately the juice is the healing and the best life possible. So every good thing in life, I believe, ends with some juice. If it's a good workout, that juice is the sweat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can give some other examples, but I won't. Yeah, so that's kind of that. Like juice is the best of life.
And how long have you been in business with your root flower fruit juice?
So in August, I was going into my third official year.
Okay, 3 years of business.
Yep.
And cool. And so you come to the CC market. You've come a few times. You were at our first ever one.
Yeah.
I think you were the first ever person we made content for too, for the CC market. Like you were there.
Yeah.
So have you vended a lot? Do you vend a lot? Is that how you get your product out the most?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I started out out the trunk. Okay. So during COVID, I would have a cooler in my trunk with juices, and I had, I would promote on social media, hey, I got these juices available. I'd go deliver them. I pull up to the park. I'm working out, have my cooler open if anybody wanted to buy juices, that kind of thing. Transitioned into markets, like doing farmers markets and pop-ups. And then now I'm kind of trying to get more into the wellness space. So partnering with different gyms, doing more wellness events and that type of thing. And then, some bigger plans that I won't discuss just yet. But the goal is to be in stores soon. So
cool.
That's the goal.
So that my 15-minute timer went off. That was 15 minutes. Did that feel like 15 minutes to you?
It didn't.
I was like, we're definitely at like the 5 or 10 mark, but then I got the 15. So I had so many more questions. I feel like there's so many ways we can like take this, like you can get a lot deeper, but I guess
it's up to you.
I gotta wrap it up. Yeah. But before I wrap it up, I do want to let people know what you got coming up. If there's anything you want to mention, anything you're working towards, or anything you just want to let people know in general. So
So year 3, I've added some new flavors. So we've revamped the brand a little bit more to add some more flavors, kind of refine things, becoming more professional, more polished. As I mentioned, the goal now is to go into some stores, starting out locally, because I do believe in fresh nutrition. Like you don't want anything that's overly processed, and you can't really find fresh cold pressed juices in a store. So that's kind of the goal right there, is to expand in that way. And then also looking to drop some merch. So I've been wanting to do merch a long time, but I wanted to keep the main thing, which is the juicing, make sure that product was top tier. And then finally, I am looking to go into podcasting as well to further build upon the just personal wellness and personal growth.
And public awareness,
exactly.
Of all this, because it seems very important.
Yes.
I definitely. I got one more question. Mm-hmm. What's a good juice? So I get anxiety every now and then. Do you know what a good juice would be to help get rid of anxiety or like to help mitigate anxiety?
So I'd say anything green. So you want to do more of your green juices. I'll give you a quick breakdown after this, but more than juices, herbs would be good for anxiety. The specific herb that I use is ashwagandha. It's very settling. You can do chamomile as well. If you want to do aromatherapy and you can handle it, lavender. I like lavender with vanilla. It's very soothing, calms down anxiety. And I'm trying to think. Those are the main things that I would say. Holy basil or tulsi is another herb. So you can find either a tincture or you can actually get the fresh herbs. And I actually am doing a wellness shot that includes those herbs. But that's what I use for anxiety.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So not just a juicer, but a well with a wealth of knowledge, I'd say. So that's good. So like you said, like y'all can go get your juice from anywhere. But how about you get it from somebody who understands it and is actually passionate about it? And
yes, please.
Like go to the professionals, I'd say, right? Go to your doctor if you're sick. Go to LaDonya if you want to get on the juice and you want to understand the nutrients you need for your body. Yes. So how can they reach you?
So social media or all platforms, I am Root Flower Fruit Juice. That's the primary place to reach me. And then from there, I also I post my schedule as I'm doing things. So I'll be sharing that schedule. You can always pull up on me at a pop-up and pull up. Let's have a conversation.
Awesome, y'all. Go have a conversation with LaDonya. It'll be worth your time. You'll leave with a lot of knowledge. Beyond that, I think that's it for today. Joel, it's been 15 minutes, right? Dude, no way. That went by so I'm like, good. I was so shocked because I remember setting my timer and then it started going off. I was like, I just said that. Like, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, 22 minutes. Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have, Cultivators. I appreciate y'all tuning in to this episode of CCGO. Make sure to check LaDonya out. Make sure to check Root Flower Fruit Juice out. Make sure to just hit her up for any questions you may have to learn a little bit more, learn about your body, avoid those processed foods. You know, I think we all know that now. It's 2024. We got to get processed food, got to go. Gotta get out of here.
Can I make one statement?
Yeah.
So I don't tell because I've gone through this struggle. I don't encourage anyone to just quit everything that you're doing.
Cold turkey.
So before you avoid processed foods, add healthy foods.
Yeah.
And if I could give one bit of advice, add something living to every meal because living foods have living enzymes and that's what helps your body. That's what heals your body. That's what gives you the energy. So don't avoid anything. Just add a few things.
And there I was trying to be the professional. I
no, you got it. You did it. You
That's
did.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect. You gave me the alley-oop.
Yeah, awesome. Well, cool, Cultivators. Thank y'all for checking in. We will see y'all in the next episode of CCGO. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon to let yourself know when we post more content. We'll be coming out with a lot of new stuff. And yeah, make sure to subscribe. See y'all later. Peace.